right, live from the Sirius XM studios at the Wynn Las Vegas, swankiest studios in Las Vegas. It is the MegaPod for Week 4 in the National Football League. Gill Alexander, thanks for tuning in. As always, the pillars of the show, the guests that are here and never leave from his mom's cork attic in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The great Todd Wishnev, everybody, star of Showtime's docuseries Action and the leader through 3 weeks, which he'll get to momentarily. How you doing, Toddy? New mic, right? New microphone?
Yes, we have a new microphone. If this doesn't work well, then you can all kiss my petard.
You sound great, man. You sound great. So when you turn purple later, we'll hear you even better than that. And Will Hill at not the Will Hill on Twitter. Todd's at T Wishnev, host of the Shoulda Bet More podcast, and of course, star of the Bear Bets podcast, Chris Felica's podcast empire at Fox Sports. In addition to being on the MegaPod, Willie was happening.
Gilly, Todd, Pritch, good to see you guys. Should have bet less on these picks through the first 3 weeks, but looking to turn it around here in week 4. What's going on?
There you go. Turn around big time. By the way, and Will just said the name or the nickname of our guest on today's show, rotating guest. It's become an annual tradition to have him on. Former National Football League wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, for the Denver Broncos, and the Seattle Seahawks. I believe I got that correct.
You did.
Is that the correct order? Atlanta,
correct order. Mm-hmm.
Denver, Seattle.
Yep. I'm glad it wasn't reversed.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, young man, 21 years old in Atlanta. Come on.
Dude.
Yeah.
Jerry Glanville.
Right. Hot Atlanta.
Freak Nick. We've been through it all. We've been through it all. Freak Nick for a certain portion of the audience. And of course, national champion. I don't want to bury that with Colorado as well.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
Just watched last night, early morning, actually, the Gospel According to Mac, 30 for 30.
Oh,
yeah, it was on.
You hadn't seen that before?
I've seen it, but years ago. So,
did you love him as a coach?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Did you love Jerry Glanville as a coach?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I mean, I respected him. You know, the guy. I think he was before his time with what he wanted to do defensively.
Yeah.
Back then, but we were undisciplined and.
Hammer was on the sideline.
Yeah, loose cannon. We had fun. We had fun. We had one winning year, but that was it.
Yeah, well, we've been through this before, you and me, Mike. But it was it's the 91 Skins. That's who you ran into. There's no shame in that. Twice.
Yeah.
Once in the regular season. Right. Brett Favre's first pick ever.
It was off my hands, a little high, wet.
Yeah.
And interception for a touchdown.
Andre Collins back to the house.
Collins.
That was a Mark Rippon 6-touchdown game. And then, of course, in the playoffs, the
that linebacker crew, Wilbur Marshall, Andre Collins, and was it Kurt Gouveia, right?
Gouveia.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I know. It was.
Yeah. By the way, Brett Favre as a rookie. Any memories of that at all?
Lots of memories. Where do I start? I mean, I think he was so raw. But you could see that he was going to turn into something incredible. I guess the best story I could say about Brett was even though he was buried on the depth chart, he was about 260, out of shape, fat, hanging out in Atlanta, doing everything you could imagine in Atlanta. But he still had this attitude that he was going to be the best quarterback to ever play this game. And he did become one of the greats.
He's in the conversation.
He is, absolutely. Yeah. So the guy was fiercely competitive and obviously was driven.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't getting a shot at that time.
If you go back and you look at that highlight of that first pick in that game in 1991, no one knew his name, right? There's Bet Favre, you know. That time.
He threw me 2 touchdown passes in a preseason game, and then he disappeared after that.
Yeah.
And then, obviously that famous moment. He was on a podcast. I can't remember the podcast it was, and he took a swipe at me, man. He said, I thought first rounders were supposed to catch everything.
Wow.
I know, because I got in front of him, right?
Wow.
Right. So the ball was high and it was wet, and Brett was charged up, and but that's Brett though. He'll do stuff like that.
I was there, section 309. All right, Todd, I know you're going to gloat, but you can review it. What are the records? This is ugly.
There's no need to gloat. I'm the kind of guy, when I get in the end zone, I just flip the ball to the ref. I've been here before. That's what I do. That's what I do. I champion. That's what I do. Anyways, Gill Alexander with a strong 1-2 week to go to 3-6. He lost his teaser to take him to 1-2. Willie also took the Titans with Gilly. These two do not learn, but Willie particularly doesn't learn that the Titans are not a club you want to take if you're trying to cover the spread. He goes 0-3 to go to 1-8. Oy vey Jmir is what they say. That's an old Italian saying. And Willie goes to 1-8. Folks, he's not this bad. Trust me. He's going to make a turnaround. I mean, I like to bury the guy, but he's going to make a turnaround, I'm sure. And it's a very small sample size, but he is 3-0 in his teasers. So that's very outstanding. And teasers are really important. So 3-0 for Willie on the teasers, leads the league. I took a nice little 3-0, flipped the ball to the ref afterwards, and I am 6-3. And I lost my teaser as well to go to 1-2. The lead now at 6-3. Let's see. Second place is Gilly at 3-6. That's a huge 3-game lead. And we go to the guest seat. The guest seat was 4-5 overall, 1-2 last week by a young man by the name of who did we have in here last week?
Drew Dinsick.
Drew Dinsick. So the guest is now 4-5, and they won their teaser to go to 2-1. The pressure is on Mr. Pritchard to try to get the guest seat back in order.
What's amazing about your 6-3 for anybody who listened last week is that you don't even know who's playing quarterback.
You don't have to. That's what's so beautiful about the National Football League, because when you're going against the Bengals defense, I could install you as quarterback and still score 35 points.
Are you going to say every sentence with this inflection? Is that
I
what's
believe I will be talking like I am doing a 1977 Dodger game featuring Andy Messersmith coming out of the pen.
Love the Andy Messersmith reference. All right, Dumbo of the week. We won't belabor this. We only have 3 choices that I could figure. 3 choices, and I'm going to save the best for last because I think he's the winner. But choice number 3, Matt LaFleur, Green Bay, third play in the fourth quarter of this drive, 3rd and 3 at their own 25. They're up 10-3. 3rd and 3 at their own 25 with 3:18 left. Cleveland down to 1 timeout in the 2-minute warning. He decides to throw. Love picked by Grant Delpit, returned 25 yards to the Green Bay 4. 2 plays later, Quinshon Judkins in from 1, 10-10, and you know the rest. The Browns blocked the field goal and end up winning the game. LaFleur for calling a pass. That's one candidate. Oh, and second candidate, Kellen Moore, New Orleans Saints. 21-0 Seahawks, 4:22 left in the first quarter. New Orleans is a 4th and 4 to Seattle, 9-yard line. Down 21-0. Late first quarter, he decides 4th and 4 at the 9, we'll just kick a field goal. Group A, 27-yard field goal. Then down 35-3 with 7:42 left in the second quarter, 4th and 2 at the Seattle 33. Again, halfway through the second. They decide, we're not going to go for it. Group A, why don't you go out there and kick a 52-yarder? And he misses it. That was pretty brutal from Kellen Moore in both of those. But the final choice, and I'm guessing this might be the winner. Todd, you were going crazy on this at the time. Brian Callahan, who has already been the Dumbo of the week once already this year. Tennessee, 5:39 left in the second quarter. They're down in this game. I want to say, I don't have the score here. Maybe it was 17-6 at this. Yeah, 17-6. Yeah. They rolled Joey Sly out for a 64-yard field goal try. Now, keep in mind, 64 would tie the 3rd longest field goal attempt ever. But the real thing is, forget that. If you miss this, right, you give the opponent, in this case, the Colts, a short field and you're already down 11. But he's like, go 64-yarder. He misses it. By the way, Schrader then misses a 51-yarder for Indianapolis. So Tennessee gets the ball back again, down 17-6 from their own 39 with 42 seconds left in the half. Indianapolis calls a timeout. Then Tennessee calls a timeout. These are subsequent, right, one right after each other. And then after both timeouts, including Tennessee's, Tennessee takes a delay of game penalty. And then he decides, Joey, why don't you go out there and kick a 62-yarder with some more than 30 seconds left on the clock. It's, of course, blocked by Grover Stewart. Indianapolis takes over the Tennessee 48 with 37 seconds left to Pittman for 10, then to Pittman for 14, Jonathan Taylor for 6 more, and Schrader kicks a field goal before the end of the half, and it's 20-6. It's got to be Callahan, right? Got to be.
I think we renamed the segment after Callahan. How does he still have a job? Granted, I'm biased. I have him first coach fired for as much as I love betting the Titans. And I keep waiting for that tweet. I keep refreshing Callahan fired on Twitter. Hopefully this week, if they lose by double digits, maybe it happens this week. But yeah, he's I know there's always recency bias with this stuff. He seems about as overmatched and unqualified for this head coaching gig as I've ever seen any NFL coach. Is that an extreme statement? I don't think it is.
I don't know that it is either. Did you ever have a head coach that, forget about the X's and O's during practice during the week, but in game would make a decision or maybe made multiple decisions where finally you lost all confidence? You're like, what is he doing?
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it happens more often than you think. Dennis Erickson, he won a national championship in Miami, obviously, in college. But the pro game just seemed to be a little bit elevated for him and his staff. I mean, he had pretty much his entire staff from Miami, outside of a couple of guys that had some experience in the National Football League. But
he was your coach at Seattle.
He was my coach in Seattle when I landed there.
By the way, did I ever say Mike Pritchard's name on this show? Or did I just go with Pritch? Is that all we went with? Mike Pritchard.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I think, the pressure, we talk about performances, right? And as players, we're accountable for our performances, and coaches, sometimes they don't pass that along as if they feel like they're accountable. It's like all on us, right?
Right.
But a lot of times those coaching decisions and some of the game plans even, make you scratch your head. And that was unfortunately a situation when I arrived there that was the case. I mean,
guys talk about
talent
that
on that football team. What's that?
Guys talk about that with each other?
Oh yeah, in the locker room, just no confidence. We had Rick Meyer as a quarterback at the time, and he was completely lost.
Yeah.
But we finally started to win with John Kitna, but we got better coaching, right? We got Mike Holmgren came in there, and so that kind of turned things around.
Wasn't Rick Meyer going into that draft? It was like him and Peyton were like neck and neck to people. Was that the right draft? Do I have that right?
Bledsoe. I thought Bledsoe.
Was it Bledsoe and Meyer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought Bledsoe was with Ryan Leaf.
That's right.
No, Ryan Leaf was with Peyton.
Well, Peyton.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pritch, I was wondering, back in the day you played in the National Football League, they used to blast receivers in the head over the middle time after time, and they would celebrate it. They would be like, watch this play, Pritchard over the middle. Oh, decapitation. So did you take any of those hits back in the day that you were just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm still alive after this?
Todd, absolutely. I got sent to the hospital by Wes Hopkins. You guys remember him?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Right. That 92 Philadelphia Eagles defense.
Brutal D.
The story behind that obviously was it was a preseason game. Of all games to get knocked out and sent to a hospital, it was a preseason game because Scott Case, our safety, clothesline Randall Cunningham out of bounds. This is in the Georgia Dome, by the way. We're just opening the thing. And then their entire team came over to our sideline and it's like, oh, it's like that today, right? And then on our sideline, we were like, okay.
You're like, great.
Get the air in your helmet, tighten up your buckle, your chin strap. And unfortunately, I didn't put air in my helmet, though, because I thought I was going to be in and out of that game, Todd. And Wes Hopkins decided to put the crown of his helmet in my right temple going across the middle.
So what did you feel? Were you knocked out cold?
I was knocked out cold. I have it on video because my dad recorded everything, and I was trying to push myself up off the ground, but my wrist was with my palm up and my hand down, and I could have broke my wrist not knowing that. And the first thing I remember was the trainer coming out and asking me to count backwards by 3 from 100.
And you're like, I can't do this on a normal day.
I got to 91. They're like, oh, you're all right. And so just go to the sideline and shake it off. Man, I got to the sideline. Everything got blurry. I started to get the chills. They said, go to the locker room. I got to the locker room. I didn't even take my pads and uniform off. And then the doctor in there saw me shaking and okay, we got to send you to the hospital. So I spent the night in the hospital.
What is that reaction?
Oh my goodness. It's something I'd never want to feel again. I'll tell you that.
Do you watch today's NFL with the way they officiate now and be like, I wish I could have played under these conditions?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of the big hits that you see now are not big hits. I mean, these guys back then, and Wes, I mean, he was 225 playing safety, right?
Yeah.
And back then, you knew how to hurt somebody. And that goes for today too. Let me say this. I think today's athlete, they know how to hurt somebody if they want to, but because of safety reasons and, they're trying to shy away from all that, they're still getting fined ridiculous amounts of money there, Todd. But yeah, unfortunately I did experience that back in the day.
Todd,
Was that because of a pass, Pritch? Was it like a slant where it was over the middle, or were you a ball carrier? Like what was the circumstance?
It was a deep dig. I was an inside slot receiver, Will, and they played a lot of cover 2 back then. And obviously, Chris Miller was our quarterback. He threw it high, and I caught it, and I could protect myself. But on the way down, Wes just perfectly timed the crown of his helmet into my temple. And I
catch it.
Wilson, did you catch it?
I did. I held on to it.
Wow.
Absolutely. First down, Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
But I paid for it, though.
Todd said, the compensation.
Well, you know, some of those hits they used to have like whole like half an hour shows about all the craziest hits, and every one of them would kick you out of the league nowadays. But they used to be so violent. I mean, the Steelers especially used to like just kill people. It was unbelievable.
The NFL is so hypocritical. Like, remember how like they legislated the kickoff out of the NFL? They're like, oh, safety, safety, safety. And now they just complete about face. They're like, oh, we got to get this play back in the league. Oh, it's so much safer now. Trust us, when the way that it works. I
remember when Mike Tomczak was playing for the Steelers at quarterback one time, and he rolled one way and rolled back the other way, and a defensive lineman caught him perfect as he was coming back around the other day. At the time, I thought, okay, the guy's dead. That's it. He's dead. There's no way he's going to be alive. It was that violent a hit. It was like in today's football, you get 3 personal fouls, 45 yards, first down.
Yeah, it's powder puff. I'll be honest, it's powder puff compared to when I played.
Todd, you know the Steelers? You know the one where Bradshaw gets like whipped down on his head?
Oh, by
Turkey
Jones. Turkey Jones of Cleveland House. And that was just a guy lifting a guy up and throwing him down on the head. That's nothing. I'm talking about these over the middle shots that were just unbelievable. The receivers getting like how their heads were still attached. I remember Don Beebe one time got hit so hard his like arm was hanging in the air. You remember that? And he was just laying on the floor with his arm like it was really scary.
Tommy Kramer shaking on the ground.
Right. Like the Tua. I think, Todd, that's like the Tua hit when Tua was
the fence
laid out.
With his fingers.
With his fingers and his arm. Yeah, I mean, that's the reaction that your body goes through.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Todd, you want to do any in-game here real quick before we get to the best bets?
I thought we were going to do Thursday night.
Yeah, we will. We'll do Thursday night.
Yeah, I only have one little thing to talk about on in-game this week. I once in a while, I will play, if I like a money line on Sunday and it's Saturday night, I'm at the end of my college football run, and I see something that I like on a money line that's going to be kind of expensive, say like a 230, a 240. For instance, San Diego State was up 14-0. They were getting 14 for the game. They might have been up 13-0. They were getting 14 for the game, and the money line at that point was, I don't know, like minus 200 or something like that against a crappy team. Oh, Cal. Right. And I thought, okay, there's just no way Cal's winning this game with this offense. The left-handed quarterback just goes back to pass and just flings the ball all over the place. There's no way San Diego State's losing. So I took San Diego State like minus 220 or something. And I said, I'm going to play Falcons money line anyways. So I'll put it with the Falcons money line in a parlay, which I did. San Diego State won, of course. And so now basically I have a minus 103 on the Falcons, who are money line somewhere in the 200s because I already won the first leg. And so now I'm watching Carolina, and I get a smell. I smell it right away. First quarter, I'm smelling something, and I smell, Carolina looks like they came to play, and Atlanta looks like they're ready to drop a deuce, a bad one in their pants. It's looking bad. And I had the opportunity to still, when Carolina led, because Atlanta was the favorite, I could get Carolina at like a minus 110 or something like that and just jump off the bet. So yeah, sure, I was going to lose a little bit of vig, but I don't have to sweat, having to deal with this Carolina nonsense. So I just jumped off it, and it was the right thing, of course, because the Falcons lost 30-0. But the point, I guess, is if you have a money line, coming into a game, and now you have an opportunity to get off, at like even money, so to speak, sometimes it's worth doing if you smell some bad stuff coming in the air. And
if you smell it,
you got to smell it. It's all about the smell.
You got to smell it. Smell it. But it is right. You would admit, though, I'm sure more than anybody, it's such a tough thing because you don't want to turn a winner into a loser as well, right? So if this were easy, everybody would do it.
I mean, in this case, it turned out to be easy, but it's obviously not always easy. Sometimes you do screw up and you turn, I had my pick last week of the under in the Denver Broncos game. I had that as a second leg under 47.5 and early, and I was way ahead. Nobody was scoring the whole game. All of a sudden, early in the third quarter, there's a bunch of points, and I got nervous and went for the middle, which turned a 1-0 into a 1-1. So, like you said, it's not so easy.
All right. Does anybody, let's start with a Thursday night football game. Does anybody have a best bet in tonight's game between the Seahawks and the Cardinals, 2-1 teams in the NFC West, where this was, it opened as the Cardinals, or earlier this week as the Cardinals being the slight favorite. Then it went to Seattle as the favorite as the week progressed, and now it's settled in as Seattle is a 1.5-point favorite on the road tonight at Arizona. Anybody have a bet on this one?
I do.
I do too.
I do too.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Let's see if we're on the same thing.
If you guys are all on the same,
first?
then I'm gonna back out.
Just listen to this guy, 6-3, acting like he's 104-0. Who wants to go first? Toddy?
I like Zona plus 1.5. Is that what you guys were gonna say?
Nope.
Okay, good. Well, on guessing lines on Monday, when I heard the lines, I don't know if you guys have ever heard a guy say on guessing lines on Monday. Anyways, Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals plus 1.5. I'm going to take them here. To me, here's the situation. Seattle crushes the Saints. Throw that in the garbage can. I can't learn anything from the fact that Seattle was at home and just everything broke right against the Saints, who were terrible, and they won by a zillion. Now, the game before that, they played the Pittsburgh Steelers down at Acrisure Stadium with $80 parking. And what happened? The Seattle Seahawks gained from the fact that the Steeler guy doesn't know the rules of the kickoff. Now, Seattle really should have won that game. They were the better team, don't get me wrong. But, it was a little touch and go there. I'll give them credit for that. The game before that was a dogfight. It was the San Francisco game, and it was pretty much the same as the San Francisco-Arizona game to me last week. It was a dogfight, could have gone either way. So to me, Seattle, Arizona, and San Francisco. So, and what do we see from Arizona? Arizona could have won that game last week, probably should have won that game. We were talking about it slightly on Wednesday, Wishnev with Wednesdays, where my friend was sitting there on 3rd and 9 when it's 15-13 Cardinals, 3rd and 9 right at the end of the ball game. San Francisco was plus 700 on the money line, which I thought, had I realized what he was doing, I would have done the same thing, because if they don't make the first down, now the Niners are going to get the ball inside the 10, but all they need is a field goal. It's definitely worth the plus 700, in my opinion. Today's NFL, the teams are going to go for it on 4th down, obviously on their last possession. And so to me, the Arizona Cardinal game and the Niners and Seattle, you could throw all three of those teams in a little, bucket, and I feel they're all the same, really. I know there's some injuries, but, the Cards are at home. Why are they getting 1.5 at home when they should? I think they're equal to the Seahawks. I think they should be minus 1.5. I like the Cards here. Call me crazy. I think Mr. Kyler Murray can, figure it out, and the Cards will pull it away. Cards plus 1.5.
Crazy. Will?
I got bad news for you, Toddy. I have the same pick and basically the same reasoning. I think you and I were both sitting there with Cardinals plus 3 and a Niners money line. I was watching just about every play of that game. Not only did they drop the 3rd and 9 to clinch the game, and I don't know if you mentioned this, Harrison dropped one where if he catches it, he'd still be running. Pritch, even at his age right now, which I don't know, looking at him at 40, 45, he looks like he could still go for maybe 900 yards in the league.
Maybe
Pritch catches this one. In the head. Yes, before he got hit in the head. Harrison dropped one. The backup running back dropped one where he would have walked in. If Arizona is 3-0, which they very easily could be, they would not be at home catching a 1.5. I just think this line is suggesting Seattle is 3 points better than Arizona. I don't buy it. To me, even-ish teams, maybe even Arizona slightly better. I think the injury report's not as bad as we maybe thought it would be. Give me Arizona plus the 1.5.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I am Oppo, you two. Oppo.
No, we're in good shape, Willie. I'll tell you why. Willie's 1-8. He's due for a W. Go ahead.
No, I think you're in trouble is what I think. I am making an injury play on this because I think it is significant. Seattle's, and by the way, not just injuries on the Arizona side, but what Seattle gets back tonight. They get back Julian Love and Devin Witherspoon in the secondary. That's huge. They're both back healthy. And Arizona has not just an injury here and an injury there. They have cluster injuries. They have an issue in the secondary where they're missing players. And so Will Johnson, rookie cornerback, is doubtful. 3 starters on the offensive line. This is the real problem. 3 starters on their offensive line are questionable. Paris Johnson Jr., the biggest of that group. And then if you love analytics, which I certainly don't after 3 days, but for those who love these kinds of things, Guess who Pro Football Focus's #1 graded quarterback is through 3
Darnold
weeks?
has played well. Trust me, Darnold has played well.
Darnold.
Yeah.
Okay, if you think Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the National Football League, I have some powdery substances to sell you.
I don't. Seattle.
What are you doing selling that stuff, Tom? What's going on with that?
The felony. Seattle leading the NFL in DVOA through 3 weeks. I know how much you love that, Todd, as well. Top 6, both offense and defense, and lapping the field in special teams per the Action Network.
How'd they lose to the Niners?
How did they
passes.
lose? Well, how did Arizona lose to the Niners? Yeah. Same nonsense. Arizona has played the Saints. They've played the Panthers. They played a banged up 49ers team that had backups in there. And there's a little bit of this also has nothing to do with anything. But this, for some reason, the Cardinals cannot get out of their own way when they play Seattle. This extends back now 3 or 4 seasons. Seattle has won 7 straight against the Cardinals, and only one of them was within 7 points. I think that ownage continues tonight. It's an injury play for me. I'm on Seattle -1.5. Injury play. Nothing for you here, Pritchard?
No, I had the game as a pick 'em, and I couldn't decide. Yeah. I mean, it's the Thursday night, and Seattle's been impressive. Right? They can run the football, which is always a plus when you're playing in a division like this. But I think Todd hit it on the nail on the head when you talk about these teams are all equal, really. I mean, injuries aside, I think from a coaching standpoint, matchup standpoint, they're all pretty equal. That's why I had this game as pick 'em. That's why I could make a decision on it.
Mike, don't encourage Todd. Please don't encourage him. All he needs is an inch, and he takes a football field. Oh, hey, Todd. When did you get here? Sorry. Okay.
By the way, is my mic too soft today?
No, it's fantastic. You sound great. Thanks for being able to connect that properly.
No, but I'm saying, are the people hearing it properly? That's what I'm wondering.
The people love you. They hear it properly, or else they'd be complaining. Everybody hears you, but you know what? You're not getting drowned out when multiple people are talking.
Well,
you sound great. Yeah, it's good news for everybody involved. Okay, Mike.
Yes,
you have your first best bet, sir.
I do.
2 picks.
You get 2 actually here. Yeah,
I get 2 best bets, right? Yeah. Okay, how about that? Well, I was really prepared for one. I'll throw another one out there, but I like Jacksonville this week, and staying in that division. Really, I mean, watching San Francisco, a significant injury with Bosa, certainly, a new coaching situation, settling into this offense. I think Jacksonville is gaining that confidence from a young team standpoint, young player standpoint, not in particular to quarterback with Trevor, but, ATN running the football, the offensive line blocking well, the defensive front getting after it too, playing complementary football. They're just well coached at this point from Cohen. So you're going on the road, that trip, I got a hook here, and it doesn't matter to me. Both quarterbacks are banged up for San Francisco. The receiving core is banged up. There's only so much scheme you can involve yourself with if you're Kyle Shanahan, and he's done that. I thought that San Francisco was an aging roster, and it's coming true with some of the players they let go, and then some of the players that they're trying to bring along, and now the injuries are mounting. So I think with a younger team, a hungry team like this going across country, getting that 3.5 on the road, that seems like a bet I'm willing to make, and I'm going to make that my best bet.
Jaguars +3.5 at the Niners. Before you move on to your next one, I have a question.
Yes.
Because you alluded to Trevor Lawrence here.
Yeah.
As a former, say again, Todd?
Do we have 3.5 for him? I want to just
3.5 everywhere.
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5.
As a former wideout, you watch today's quarterback. So Trevor Lawrence triggered this in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sense that you don't love him as a quarterback by what you just said. Who do you, first of all, am I right that I'm sensing that? Mm-hmm. And secondly, who do you look at among today's young quarterbacks and say, that guy's going to be awesome, that guy I don't buy yet?
Yeah, it's interesting. Trevor Lawrence had the opportunity to evolve as a player. I think that was stymied with the bad decisions that they made as an organization, not really knowing what direction they want to go in. He's tailor-made for the type of offense that Cohen wants to employ, and he's executing it. Now he has his moments still, but I think there's the upside there is incredible. It really is. It could be off the charts, and I think he's got the right coach to do that. And you look at Baker, for instance, what Cohen meant to Baker Mayfield, and now what Baker has done with what he's learned, and now he's just taken it to another level. So to me, when these quarterbacks unlock that mystery door and they find out and they get that evidence and they find out what it takes to become better, then you see that leap forward. Then you see that improvement. And he's got a potent running game. And I like I mentioned, that defense is a top 5 defense right now in terms of points allowed. So he's got some support where he doesn't have to feel like it's all about Trevor Lawrence, like it has been since he entered the league, really, if you think about it, that kind of pressure.
So I was mistaken. You still are bullish on him.
Yeah.
Who do you look at and you're like, yeah, I'm not seeing it
right now? Bo Nix is interesting because just for information purposes, Sean Payton and his narrative to make him a down the field throwing quarterback, right? And they're trying to pound that into everybody, and it's a detriment to them. I mean, they are not evolving in the way that they should. Bo Nix is not evolving the way that he should. And what I mean by that is everybody has tape on you. Everybody knows your tendencies now. So now we know how to defend you. As a young quarterback, it's incumbent upon you to evolve and understand how to break tendencies, understand how to be better, understand how to adjust to when people adjust to you and your style of play. So I think that's a work in progress. Daniels, I think he was a guy who I was looking to have that sophomore leap year to turn into not only a star quarterback, but turn into that kind of guy, right? Yeah. Like we saw with Patrick, but unfortunately he got hurt right now. But no, it's the league catches up to you. And as a player, you have to evolve your game. You have to evolve and be better. You have to study film differently. You have to study your opponent differently. You have to study the opposing coaches differently. And it just doesn't seem like the coaches are conveying that information to the players, and the players aren't using that for development. Tom Brady talks about this all the time. And I wish a lot of these young quarterbacks would start to listen to him.
Tom Brady talks about pre-snap a lot.
Pre-snap, just preparation, meeting with personnel people, understanding how we look at their roster. I need to understand that as a quarterback, and I need to understand the weaknesses of a corner or a safety, or can I look off a linebacker with my eyes? Yeah. I need to know all that stuff. And, it seems like these young quarterbacks are so reliant upon the coaches in their ear telling them what to do.
Well, last one here before we continue. Where do you stand on Caleb?
Oh, man, I saw him in person out here when he was SC, and I like his game, and I like who he's matched up with. I think Ben Johnson, he's a no nonsense type of coach. He runs hot, and Caleb likes to freelance, and if he can get that under control, we talked about Brett Favre a little bit. Yeah, how do you control the wild stallion? Do you let him learn? Mm-hmm. Eventually, he's going to make his mistakes, share mistakes, but then he's going to be great. And Brett made his mistakes all throughout his career. I think Caleb's that type of quarterback. He's going to make a ton of mistakes, but there's tremendous amount of upside. And can they rein that in? Can they control it? Can they make it successful? And that's the problem with Chicago right now.
Okay.
2 quick things, Gilly, before we go on. People on the WhatsApp group are saying my mic is still very low, and this is not my fault anymore, just so you know. That's number one. Number two, okay. Bo Nix needs to run the ball more. Number three, our boy Caleb Williams stinks, and it will stink. Mike, I'm going to directly contradict you. Caleb is not going to be good. Forget about it. I'm sorry, Mike, and I'm sorry I'm very angry about it.
Well, you don't have to be angry, but you can. But no, he has the upside that you really, the reason why you draft him where you draft him, and he's got the right coach. And to your point, if he does not get it with Ben Johnson, he'll never get it. He'll be just a backup.
Agreed on that. For sure. Agreed on that. This is his last chance.
Was the best game of his career this past.
Sure. But you can see that he has it. Now they don't have the running game that Ben had in Detroit. They don't have that guy. Eric Bieniemy is the coach, the running backs coach.
Your guy.
Yeah. Colorado. So they don't have a Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I mean, if they had something like that, that would help out tremendously. But I think Caleb has a sense, but his offensive line is not that great either right now. I hate their center. But I think there is some upside there.
You ever meet Eric's brother, Corey, by any chance?
I have. I know Corey really well.
Corey installed my cable.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Corey is great people.
What a nice guy.
Great guy. I've known Corey since he was a little guy.
Yeah.
So.
Super
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
All right, Pritch. I know it sounded like you only came prepared for one of these.
I
We have
did.
3 of these. So you have
Well,
to give
no,
us
best bet.
Oh,
Yeah.
best bet of the 3. Yep.
You know, I'm oscillating between a lot of games in terms of another best bet.
Do you want us to come back to you, Pritch? You can
Come back.
Yeah, come
We'll
back
come
to
back
me
to you.
because I
All right.
have focused on some teasers here,
Understood.
but
Pritch, you're going to need
get
2 more. You're going to need 2 more picks and a teaser.
He knows the teaser.
Yep, I got teaser. Yep,
We just got confused on the 1 versus the 3.
Right.
All
Don't
Todd.
feel bad, Pritch. Todd never prepares for this podcast, so we're used to.
And
having to wait for
what's
him.
unbelievable is with no preparation, I still am the champ year after year after year.
Not
So
year
that's
after year.
That's what's so interesting.
Yeah,
I guess that'll make it my turn.
That's your turn.
Okay, and actually, I'll say something relative. Look, I agree with Pritch on the sense that if he doesn't get it with Ben Johnson, forget about it. It's over because this is his chance to work with an excellent offensive coordinator who made Jared Goff great. If he doesn't get it now, see ya, Caleb. But on that, I would say I would like to take the Raiders. Raiders -1 at home in Allegiant. Why do you say I like the Raiders? You probably wonder. You say, why do you like the Raiders, Todd? I'll tell you why I like the Raiders. Caleb looked great last week. Well, why did he look great? Well, he's playing against Division II Dallas State. Dallas State defense is unbelievably bad. I do believe if you put Willie out there, quarterback, you put Gilly as the slot receiver, I think he could throw for 400 yards against Dallas. That Dallas defense is so pathetic. I can't even, it's mind-boggling to me how bad it is. The New York Giants with a skeleton, a deceased Russell Wilson, scored 34 points against this team. And then, okay, so the Bears at home, they score 1 million. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything. Let me see him against a real defense. Oh, well, we have seen him against a real defense. And what happens? He looks like crap. So I'm saying that Mr. Carroll will figure it out with the Raiders. The Raiders are going to have to win a game here sooner or later. They did beat the Patriots on the road. You got to tip their hat. You got to tip your hat to them on that one. Sure, they lost to the Chargers. The Chargers are better than them. Okay. And then last week, they didn't look great. Granted, I just think this is the week that the Raiders finally come out. They get to go against Caleb, the doofus. Give me Raiders -1.
Doofus. Russell Wilson was deceased out there playing? Wow.
I believe he broke the record for passing yards while deceased.
Previously held by.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Abe Rosenberg, 1919.
Like, who could forget? Who could forget Abe? Willie.
I'm not going to double up on Todd, even though I agree with that pick. I don't want to Hashem Todd with 2 of the same, so I will pick a third one here. I'm going to go. I hate doing this. I hate picking against the team 1 week and then jumping on them because it just feels like you're reactionary. I actually really like this matchup for the Vikings. I'll lay the 2.5, assuming it's 2.5, not 3.
Oh, you
If
probably
you
didn't
look
see
at
the
this-
Steelers have been welcomed in Ireland. There was a band playing and everything. They were doing the Steeler polka. Go ahead.
We hear your
Parking. I've heard the parking in Ireland is very reasonable, though. As someone who's Irish, we would never charge excess prices for parking, I could say. Look, the Steelers' 2 wins. Against the Jets, they were outgained by 1.5 yards per play, +1 in turnovers. Against the Patriots, they were outgained by 1.5 yards per play. The Steelers had 4 yards per play last week. They gave up 6.5 yards per play to the Jets. And in those 2 wins, they're +5 in turnovers. And I just don't like the matchup here of Rodgers at his age, who's really not getting the ball down the field, against all these exotic scheme pressures of Flores. And if you watch some of the film stuff, I know you like watching some of that, Todd. I'll have to send it to you. Some of the different disguises, maybe Pritch can speak to this if he's seen it. Some of the different disguises the film guys just drool over with bringing pressure, making it look one way, disguising it, bringing it somewhere else. Flores is going to blitz you. He's going to pressure you. I don't know how Rodgers handles that. Rodgers can't move at his age. Steelers a little phony in terms of the stats, which I feel like we say every year. The Vikings got Darisaw back last week, and he was basically flawless. They didn't give up any pressures, any hurries, anything. He's a really good offensive lineman. And now they get Jordan Addison back, who he matters. You pair him with Jefferson. That's a really good duo. Wentz, okay. He can just get the ball out. There's a good enough team around him. Where I think Minnesota, is it McCarthy? Minnesota's going to win this game, I think. I'll lay the 2.5 with Minnesota.
This was what we meant by Todd didn't know the quarterback last week, and he still went 3.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that's me. I am taking the Baltimore Ravens -2.5 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Omaha Chiefs. Ravens looked terrible Monday night against the Lions. Much of that was the Lions themselves, their opponent. But that was just that was a weird game. First of all, the Baltimore defense looks suspect in a way that we're not used to seeing them look suspect. But I also thought it was a weird game from Lamar, who I love and who I thought should have been the MVP last year, not Josh Allen. I thought that was the weirdest game for Lamar. Not that the Detroit pass rush wasn't good, but I thought he had his box score looks great, except for the fact that, he took 7 sacks. I felt like it was almost like somebody dared him before the game, like, hey, let's see if you can go a full game without throwing the ball away. It was just a very weird performance by him where he was just, and Joe Buck even alluded to this earlier in the game where it's like, hey, part of the bargain with Lamar is that he feels like he can make every play, so he's loath to throw it away. But I thought that was a little over the top on in that primetime game.
They spied him really well. Didn't you think their spy, the Steve Fezzik called the Lions defensive coordinator and said, you better spy this guy, because there was literally 3 or 4, I had Lamar rushing yards in game, and there was at least 3 or 4 times where Lamar was literally a half a step away from being like a big gainer, and the spy came in and found a way to get him down. It was so close. I thought the spy work by the Lions was outstanding.
The spy work. Yeah, and all that said, though, I just don't think the Chiefs have it right now. Maybe they'll be when they're at full strength a little later on in the season. We can expect more of the same. But even in victory over the Giants, that was a struggle for much of that.
It was lackluster.
Yeah, completely lackluster. One of these teams, barring a tie, is going to 1-3, and I think it's the Chiefs. I just think Baltimore is going to have a bad taste in their mouth from that game against Detroit. I think they are the better football team up and down. I am taking the Ravens minus the points here.
I'm oppo you. With my other best bet. Here we go. Sitting right next to you, being oppo alert. Here's the thing about Baltimore, and I talked about this on Fox Sports about how I think it's an aging roster. It's a great roster, but it's an aging roster. And the evidence that I had showed up Monday night when you think about Aiden Hutchinson coming back, right, from injury, superstar player, a mountain of a man, by the way. And he purposely lined up over Ronnie Stanley. Think about that. I can take a pick where I want to line up to rush the passer and disrupt the line of scrimmage.
And you choose him.
I want that guy.
Yeah.
And that told me a lot about where they are as an offense and the offensive line. And to your point about Lamar Jackson, he's lost a step. He's lost a few steps. When he used to take off out of the pocket, there was no catching that guy. And now he still plays the game as if he's faster than all these other players out there, but he's not.
That's interesting.
And then I think from an aging roster standpoint, they wear down. I mean, look at the evidence against Buffalo. You go against the game Monday night, you go back to the playoff games last year, they wear down in the fourth quarter. And one of the things about Kansas City is they relish in that opportunity in the fourth quarter, especially at home. So if this game gets in the fourth quarter, which it should, I mean, this is like a divisional game. There's so much familiarity. Then it's Patrick Mahomes in the fourth quarter at home. And so I like that 2.5 right there.
I love how Pritch didn't have a play. And then as soon as I said one, he's like,
No, I had it. It's going to be a teaser, but I'm going to throw it in as a best bet.
Okay.
So. By the way, I want to ask Pritch. Can I ask Pritch a quick question, Gilly? Okay, so now the wide receiver position is known as the diva position, Pritch.
Oh,
Maybe not as much back in your day, but certainly nowadays. I'm curious in the locker room, right? If a team wins the game, like nowadays, I would think it's probably, this happens all the time, where the team wins the game and a guy gets 2 catches for 12 yards and he's supposed to be like a big time guy and he's pissed off even though his team won the game. Now, did that go on back in your day, or would people all pretend they were happy? Oh, we won the game. It's all about winning the game. Or were they like, hey, I only got 2 catches, you fuckers. I don't care if we won 39-7.
Yeah, a lot of that, Todd. I mean, absolutely. Wide receiver is a selfish position, man. And you have to think that you're all that, right? You have to feel like you're the playmaker that's going to win the game, because that's what you are. You're a playmaker. The description of your job is to make plays, right? Whether it's a first down for 2 yards or it's a 80-yard bomb for a touchdown. And so when you make big plays, you kind of build off of that. And if you're not involved, you want to wonder why. Why are they not featuring me? Why are they not involving me in this offense when I'm a playmaker? So the diva position is all because of that. It's a very selfish position, but within the team, it works perfectly. The structure of a team. But if a guy is on his own page, then obviously it's not going to work. And that player is selfish. But I'm all for guys wanting to be a diva and wanting to have the ball and wanting to make a difference, because that's what that position defines it to be. You have to be able to make plays in critical situations.
And the frustration comes from it's such a dependent position, right? So it's not in your control.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like if you are one-on-one and you know you can beat this guy and the quarterback goes somewhere else, it's like, okay, what are you doing? That kind of thing,
That's right.
I'm one to say this often, that the quarterback is the most dependent position on the field. And people don't see it that way because they think the quarterback makes everything go, right?
Well, that's interesting.
But no, everything goes the quarterback goes because everything else is going. Like if I'm running my wrong route, the quarterback's not going to look great. If offensive lineman is doing bad stuff up front, quarterback's not going to look great. Running back can't block a blitzing linebacker or safety, quarterback's not going to look great. So the quarterback is the most dependent position on the field. When it works great is when you have a great player playing that position. Then that's when it's spectacular.
You mentioned you're on Fox
Jones.
Sports. Where can people hear you?
I've been on, it was Odd Couple for a while, but Rob Parker and
from
Broussard,
Detroit.
right? Yeah, I was on their show a few times, but it's a different show now. And I'm on sporadically.
Okay.
They'll call me up.
But you have your podcast that you do?
Yeah, we're on the podcast with Brady Cannon and James Salinas, two guys who won the Super Contest, and we got a football contest show that we do each and every week.
That should be the Three Nice Guy podcast. Nicest guys in the world, the three of you. All right,
How dare you? I'm right here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, Will. I apologize. You notice Todd didn't object.
Until I throw an F-bomb or something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be nice anymore. But no, the other one I was looking at, guys, from a best bet standpoint, is I can't decide between Atlanta or Washington for a best bet.
It's a tough game.
It's a tough game. There's so many storylines in this game.
I think it's going to be Mariota, by the way, even though we don't have official word of that.
They better not play Daniels.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
That when you hear sprain, that's a tear, and you don't mess around with that, especially with that guy. Let that thing heal. But
Take Atlanta.
Mariota,
Take Atlanta.
yeah, Mariota's going. What's that?
Take Atlanta. You want teams.
I want to, but Mariota going back now. There's some axes to grind in this game, right, Todd? I mean, Mariota walked out on that team. And in
a weird fashion,
in a very weird fashion.
Yeah.
So it's personal, but these guys weren't around that much. A lot of these guys weren't. But Atlanta's improved. They laid an egg against Carolina, which always happens in that game. And Mariota, as a quarterback, he made some plays against a bad Raiders team, and the Raiders just didn't show up for that game. But something says to me that he goes back in this axes to grind situation, what is it? 1.5. So yeah, I got to go with the Birds and go that way. Yeah,
the Dirty Birds lost by 30. Pritch, you know the point spread when you lose by 30 as an NFL team. It's like 65% against the spread all the way back because everybody, it. When you guys used to get blown out, everybody was paying attention to practice that next week, I'm sure.
Well, we didn't think about this point spread there, Todd. I'll be honest with you. We were thinking about a lot of other things in Atlanta, Hotlanta.
No, but I'm talking about when you guys got blown out in a game. Forget the point spread. If you lost 30-0, that next week people are paying attention more in the practice. No,
not if you're bad, Todd. I mean,
okay.
Some things you can't help, man. And not if your team is not together and feeling like, okay, we're all in this together. If you have a bunch of guys or just a bunch of guys in the locker room, nobody couldn't care less about whether we got blown out by 30 and whether we're going to get blown out again. Now, when you start to generate momentum and you start to feel good about yourselves, and that's when things kind of get cohesive, if you will, and you start playing together as a team. But I think Atlanta, after that loss, they're too talented. I know Pitts is banged up a little bit, but there's questions about the quarterback. This whole redemption thing just is all around this football game. Whether it's Marcus and going back to Atlanta, or whether it's Penix, or is it somebody else that's going to step up, and that's why this game's intriguing to me.
Can we go back to the draft though for a second, because you were talking about Atlanta in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder about this because we all, as as non-professional athletes wonder, oh, if I was good enough to get drafted, would I sit there on draft day and be like, oh man, I hope I get drafted by Miami instead of Buffalo, right? Based on geography. Atlanta, what it was in the early 90s. Were you actively thinking those things in the draft? Because you ended up getting picked, what, 9th?
13th. No, I wasn't thinking that at all. I mean, I started getting calls at pick 9. Like I got calls because that's what happens with the draft. You start getting calls from teams that are coming up with their pick. And so
you didn't have the knowledge that Atlanta was going to be this unbelievable place to be at 22 years old.
No, not really, because what had happened, I was getting calls from Pittsburgh because they had, I think they had 2 picks too. I don't want to remember that correctly, but I know they were around 18. Then I was getting calls by Dallas.
What year was
91. Then I was getting calls by Dallas, and then I was getting calls. Certainly Atlanta jumped in there. The Giants were in there. It was all the teams that I really had some really good workouts with, and they talked about second round, and that's where I thought I was going to go. But then once the run on receivers started to happen, my phone started blowing up. So
Herman Moore went to Detroit at 10. Alvin Harper went to Dallas at 12, and then you went to Atlanta at 13.
Exactly. And Pittsburgh, where was Pittsburgh?
Huey
18?
Richardson. Pittsburgh took Huey Richardson, linebacker.
15th. Yeah,
15.
And they took 2 wide receivers in round 2 and 3. Jeff Graham and Ernie Mills. The little guy, Ernie Mills, was good.
That was the Rocket. Ismail was supposed to go first draft, and then that morning we found out Dallas was going to take Russell Merrill.
That's right, because Rocket went to Canada.
Right.
So
that's right.
So you're not thinking about the perfect spot for you. You're just thinking about the opportunity at that point. Once your phone is blowing up with all those teams, right?
Yeah.
But as a guy with experience now, I mean, certainly if you could control it, and you hear stories about people controlling it. I think Michael Irvin talked about that recently. Don't pick me, Green Bay and all these other teams. And I wanted to go to Dallas. I wanted to be with Jimmy, which was something that if you were aware of at that time, obviously it worked out for him that way. But I tell you, man, as a young man come off a national championship, the MVP of that team, I was just chomping at the bit for the opportunity.
Okay, well, now I have to ask you. I wasn't going to bring this up, but now I have to ask you because you're friends with Dion. So we just heard reports last week that Shador said, yeah, Baltimore, don't draft me. So that's obviously Dion talking, not Shador. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's the only time you have leverage as a player, really. The first time you have leverage is when you're getting drafted. Like, if you want to be like that, if you want to be structured that way, you can, and you can kind of facilitate where you go, right? And you can make it known. I mean, it's years later that we heard about Michael Irvin saying, I don't want to go to Green Bay. I want to go. So a lot of guys don't make it public, but no, if you have the leverage, John Elway, I'm not going to Baltimore. Right.
But people would say in counter, they would say, yeah, but that's John Elway and that's Michael Irvin.
Right. Then Shador, with his popularity, probably felt empowered to do that.
Yeah.
Now, did it work out? No, apparently not. Right. I mean, but he's right. Why get drafted by Baltimore and just sit for 3, 4, 5 years without a chance to play?
Be interesting to see if he gets in this year.
Round.
We'll see if he gets in this year with Cleveland. All right. Last best bet then for you is
Atlanta.
Finally, Atlanta.
No, he took Falcons, but how many points are we giving him? 1 or 1.5?
We're giving him 1.5. There's enough 1.5s out there.
Okay. So Falcons
trying to rip him off, Todd.
I know he's a stickler over there, man.
Yeah, he is.
Mike, you want to earn it, right? Mike, you don't want us to, be soft. You
I saw enough 1.5s, Todd.
I know we're giving it to you. We're giving it to you. I'm just saying, you're not a soft guy like Gilly. Gilly go over the middle, get hit in the head. You never see him for the rest of his career. Okay, you came right back in and played. That's the difference. Soft versus hard.
I resemble that remark. Todd, go.
My last pick is going to be, actually, this is the one I like the best, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. But I want to go with the under 47 in the Jacksonville Jaguars against the 49ers. Under 47 in the Jags game. I don't know why a 47 is up, and I don't know why it was opened lower, like 44.
Okay, by the way, Todd, we have deciphered why people can't hear you, because you're not talking into the mic when you are talking
directly into
now
the mic.
We hear you.
I was the whole time. You're wrong, and whatever. We'll see.
We'll hear you great.
Okay. Anyways, whatever, Mr. 3 and 6. Under 47 Jaguars is my pick into the goddamn mic, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, what Niners game this year tells you that 47 is warranted? They're playing grinder games with the Cardinals. They're playing grinder games with us with the first game of the year against Seattle.
They're on grinder? Oh,
yeah, they're on football grinder. They grind. They're playing grinder games. There's not high flying, crazy offense all over the field. The Niners are playing defensively. They've got Mac Jones at the quarterback. I believe he's the quarterback. Willie, will you want to tell? Is McCarthy starting for the Niners, or is it Mac Jones? I believe it's Mac Jones. And they're not a high flying offense. They're a 6-minute ball control offense. Get it to my new kicker Pinero instead of Moody. By the way, I was sweating it. I had
Todd,
3 bets
while the game's going on. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to rely on Moody. We're like, it's not Moody anymore, Todd. Pinero.
Because I had 3 bets. I had the Willie Middle going with the Niners money line and +3 Cardinals. I had another Niners money line and +8.5 Cardinals, and I also had Kyler Murray over 35.5 rush. And if they got the ball back, he might kneel down and I would lose that also. So I had so many bets riding on them being able to get a field goal. And I'm thinking, oh my God, please not Moody, because I didn't realize that Moody's gone. And it was Pinero. And I wasn't even that much more happy with Pinero. Pinero's missed plenty of field goals for me in the past. I know exactly who he is, but he knocked it right down the middle. Anyways, the point is the Niners are playing ball control games. And are the Jaguars this high-flying, falutin offense? I watched the whole game last week. It was 17-10 against Houston. Where are we getting these ideas? Granted, the Bengals game got out of control, but the Bengals, all Bengals games get out of control. There's no offense. There's no defense. That doesn't mean anything to me. The Jaguars played a low-scoring game against Carolina. They played a low-scoring game against Houston. And you got basically a very similar team in San Francisco. They're not going to let you just score easy touchdowns, and they're not going to score easy touchdowns. So 47? Get out of here. It's way too high. Under 47.
Every sentence. The end. Willie, last one.
What do we have for Chargers Giants? 6 or 6.5?
6.5, I believe. Let me see. Doop-a-doop-doop. Yeah, 6.5, I believe.
Okay, whatever.
6? I'm not. Well, hold on. Let me. Maybe.
Well, we don't know what he's going to pick. We don't know what he's going to pick, so we can give him anything we want.
Well, that's why he's asking in advance. I know his whole strategy. Hold on. Let me get the consensus here. I don't want to. Let's be official.
Yeah,
let's do this correctly. By the way, Todd, I don't know if you've heard of a show called Guessing Lines, but I guessed 7.5.
Get out of here. Was this a show that's on Mondays?
That's correct. I guessed 7.5, and it opened at 5.5. I couldn't believe that. Now it's 6.5. Painted 6.5.
I'm going to take the Giants here. I just think that down, the Giants actually didn't play that badly against the Chiefs. They didn't play that badly against Dallas, a game they should have won. Week 1 against the Commanders was the only game where they were really blown out. And I like their defense. I think their front four can get after Herbert here. I think Dart will give them a little life. I think we'll be able to run around and move better than Wilson. It's ugly in real life in terms of betting. You probably want to wait. You probably get a 7 at some point here on Sunday, but I think the Giants keep this game close. I'll take the Giants plus the points.
And I am going to conclude with the Los Angeles ramifications, giving 3.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. This is the referendum game on the Colts. 3-0, talk of the league, Daniel Jones, talk of the league, Danny Dimes. I think this is the comeuppance. Like with my play on Baltimore, I think this is a team that is not going to be happy. That was the worst beat ever on the Rams last week. Worst of the year, worst I can remember, with the blocked field goal and then return. Didn't even have to return the kick. What are you doing? Jump on the ball. You're not supposed to pick it up and scoop because you could fumble it theoretically, right? And the Rams in that game, that plus 3.5 was never in doubt, and then it wasn't in the end. I'm on the Rams here. I think they come out big. I think this is the first time the Colts sort of get punched in the mouth. And I'll take the Rams here, minus 3.5. I think they're the better football team up and down, as I believe I said with the last game, too.
Before Pritch give us our teasers, I think I'm hearing something. Oh, yeah, I am.
Oh,
19-17 is the score. The Seahawks leading by 2, 3 seconds to play. The Cardinals line up for a 47-yard makeable field goal. Here's the kick. It's blocked. Seattle is a big ugly has it. He's running the other way. Wait, he fumbles the ball. The holder grabs it. He's running back the other way. He's going to go 10, 5. Oh, my God. Touchdown. The most improbable blocked kick fumble recovery for a touchdown.
that pitch come from?
Can we get the purple? Can we get the purple animation for Tom right there? I'm actively watching our viewers drop on that
Have
one.
we ever seen a blocked kick and then a fumble and recovered by the holder to run it back for a touchdown? It's never happened.
Okay, teaser of the week. Favorite 2-leg 6-point teaser. There's a lot of Wongers here too. A lot of Stanford Wong options on this week's card. Mike,
there's a lot of teaser situations. Entertaining. But I'm going to tie in two of my best bets. From a home team standpoint, and Kansas City getting points. Obviously, I got to take that as a teaser on a leg. I don't care who they're playing, to be honest with you. And then I'm going to throw in Atlanta. I feel pretty confident about throwing in Atlanta with that teaser at home, bouncing back from that game. Now, I fully know that that's an underachieving division that Atlanta plays in. But the inconsistency of the National Football League with bad teams, that could happen this week. So I like Atlanta on the teaser.
Atlanta, Kansas City for Pritch.
I like that teaser. I like that teaser like by Pritch there a lot.
I do too.
That Falcons plus 7.5. But I'm going to go with what I already wrote down, even though I really like that one too. I'm going to go with Zona up to plus 7.5. So the Cards plus 7.5 at home tonight. And I'm going to put them with the Green Bay Packers. I don't believe, after what we saw last week, that Green Bay is going to play Arlington State in Arlington with that defense and not crush the Dallas Arlington State Cowboy defense. I'm going with the Packers. Is it minus? It'd be -1, right?
He thinks I'm joking about the mic. It's like, I don't know, Todd. I don't know. What do you think, Todd?
I'm talking directly into the mic.
You keep doing that for everybody?
I had to check the spread. Okay, Cards plus 7.5, Packers -1.
Oy vey. Will,
Arizona and Atlanta, give me the 7.5 both ways. I think we get 2 close games, if nothing else. I like Pritch's Atlanta play too. I don't know if Daniels is going to play. I don't know if McLaurin's going to play. We see this a lot too, where a backup quarterback will play well one week and then not so well the next week. I think that's, if nothing else, a close game. Atlanta, Arizona.
Terry McLaurin has played 72, I believe, or 76 if you add the playoffs, straight games since week 16 of 2020. He hasn't missed a game. I think he might miss
modern day Lou Gehrig.
Well, this is what happens when you have a hold-in, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Soft
tissue.
At a football panel here at Circa, all these receivers that hold out, and don't bet on them in terms of props and stuff. I mean, a lot of times they get injured along the way because they're not callous. They didn't go through the rigors of training camp, and now he's going through that, and the bumps and bruises are going to start happening.
I have every sense that it's going to be Marcus Mariota again. By the way, as long as Marcus Mariota wins football games, that gives them license to just sit Jaden as long as they need to. So I am going to have a stinker of a teaser, which God knows what could go wrong here. I'm going with the Broncos on Monday night, teased down to a 0.5 point against the Bengals. I think the Broncos win that in elevation, and the Bengals defense is terrible. Terrible.
7.5. It's 7.5. How could it be down to 0.5?
Okay,
to 1.5. I'm sorry. Pardon me. To 1.5.
You got to speak into the mic, Gilly. We can't hear you. We heard 0.5. That's why you got to speak into the mic.
That's right. You missed the one. And then the other one is similarly down to 1.5. You ready for this? The Houston Texans. Houston Texans hosting the Tennessee Titans. They got to get off the schneid here. They're 0-3. Got to get a win.
Can
here.
I ask Pritchard a question? Is it possible to
Pritchard
win
alone?
Is it possible to win an NFL game with no offense like the Houston Texans are going to try to win?
I said possible. Anything's possible. And hell, the Super Bowl, Broncos won the Super Bowl without an offense because of their defense with Peyton Manning. Remember
the Ravens, actually. 2000 Ravens with Dilfer.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a defense like that, absolutely. But these teams don't have defenses like that right now.
2000 Ravens is probably the best example of that. What Todd is talking about. Trent Dilfer, quarterback, and that defense just epic.
I don't even know what they averaged a game. I mean,
Peyton
Manning was hurt, and he was on one leg, and they won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So,
okay. I will say this about Survivor also, since I bring up the Texans. So for those of us who are in Circa Survivor, if you're in a Survivor pool in your area with all your buddies, the sort of go-to pick for everybody this year, or this week rather, pardon me, is going to be the Buffalo Bills, who are 16.5-point favorites hosting the New Orleans Saints. I will say this, though, because for everybody who's immediately like, oh, free bingo square, let's move on. I lost with a 17-point favorite at home in 2020 with the LA Rams, the Jets, back in 2020. So it is possible. Nothing's a free bingo square in this league. But the other thing I would point out is Survivor continues, right? And you have to figure out who you're going to play next week. And I would say to you, you might want to save Buffalo for next week because there's the choices are way more sparse next week, I believe. So I hate this. Yeah, next week's a brutal week. So I hate to say this, but the sort of future value play in Survivor, like Seattle was last week, meaning that there's no other natural place to really play them, is actually Houston. So if you can sort of stomach an 0-3 Houston Texans team, there is no other natural place to play them. This might be the week for that.
You have to pick a Survivor team with no offense. They've got to win all on the defense. Okay, fair enough.
Well, you understand my point, though, Todd.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think you're making a good point, actually.
Well, I thank you.
You think Broncos are risky?
From a Survivor standpoint? Okay, I don't. I actually think Cincinnati's way worse than people
also,
think.
The Broncos do everything that Cincinnati doesn't do. Cincinnati doesn't block for the quarterback, and the Broncos rush the quarterback. I think it's a horrible matchup. I almost took the Broncos minus the points because the Broncos' defensive line is going to kill those guys up front, I think.
All right, we ready for the last two questions? Are we there?
What about the prop?
All right. What's that? Oh, prop of the week. Prop of the week. I forgot. Todd Wishnev's. It is Todd's podcast after all.
Oh, that's right.
By the way, we can get rid of the prop of the week if you want to stay non-relevant. That's fine.
Wow. Wow. Well, I didn't prep the guest on a prop, so I don't know if you want.
We can give Mike a pass.
Yeah, well, you go ahead, Todd. What's your?
How about we just ask Mike if he agrees with our props? I'm going to take Joshua Allen. To go under 24.5 rushing yards.
No way.
Because of the fact that they don't like to run him when it's when they know they're going to win the game. They like to save him for running when he's going to be in a tight game. And I don't think this is going to be a tight game. So I'm going to take Joshua Allen under 24.5 rushing yards.
Joshua Allen. What about Josh Allen? All right. Will, you had the same one?
I can't believe it. Yeah, we're lockstep into way too much of this stuff. I had the same thought with 16-point favorite. Are they really going to run him? I don't think so. So I'll try to find another one. Do you want to go and then come back to me? Because I got to find another one.
Oh, he doesn't want to Hashem you. Doesn't want to do that to you, Toddy. Chris Boswell, 1.5 field goals over.
They lost last week, right?
We lost last week with Boswell, finally.
It did lose last week, but this is in Dublin. This is a 6:30 Pacific kickoff, 9:30 Eastern stateside. And these games are riddled with field goals as far as I'm concerned. So Chris Boswell, over 1.5 field goals.
I mean, you got to think the Vikings are going to hold the Steelers down at like the 20-yard line a couple times, and Boswell pumps a couple in. I think that's a solid bet.
That's a good solid.
All right, I'll go similar handicap here. I'll go under 28.5 pass attempts for Allen, just because once they get a big lead, just hand it off, get out of there. And is he really going to have the need to throw 30 plus times? I don't think so. So under 28.5 pass attempts. By the way, the one I gave out last week, I think, was Tua over 34.5. He's sitting at 34. He's back to pass. He throws it, but it's just sideways enough to be a lateral. Just an incredible bad beat.
That was brutality. So it was 24.5 you had over. That would have been past 25, but it is ruled a lateral. And I think it was the correct call.
It was 34. It was 34 he had. He needed that for 35.
34.5, correct. They needed 35. It was also the receiver's prop as well, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. If that was a pass, he would have gotten over his receiving yards. But instead, it's a lateral, and it counts as a 14-yard rush.
And I had a great pick. I had CD Lamb last week over 6.5 receptions, and he gets injured, of course. And there goes my bet right off the bat. Then he comes back for a play he can't play. So I got screwed on that.
Yeah, boy, I really have a lot of sympathy for you. I've never picked a team with a player who died on the field and then some other person claims a championship because of it. That's never happened.
In Pritchard's day, they just peeled him off and they kept going. They didn't call games because somebody almost died.
Move the drill.
In Pritchard's
Yeah.
day, you're acting like you played in the 1940s.
By the way, I'll tell you what, in Pritchard's day, they didn't call games for lightning either. What kind of
that's another one.
pussification of this National Football League and the call? This drives me bananas. Nobody's getting hit by lightning, okay? Can we cut the nonsense already with the lightning? No one's getting hit by. We played in lightning for how many years in a row, and how many guys got hit by lightning? Some of these guys are fat. Nobody got hit by lightning.
What do you dislike more, Todd? The premature physiculation or the pussification of the league, as you just described?
I mean, am I wrong here in saying that we've gone too far with this lightning nonsense?
You're not wrong, man. It's called liability, though.
Yeah, yeah.
The league gets sued left and right, man, and they're valuing their franchises over $10 billion now. So
jeez,
they're thinking
it's
about
more college than the NFL. College, every time you look, like every third game goes into a lightning delay. It's more a college issue.
I mean, what's a little lightning between friends? I mean, it can't hurt that much. You just shake it
Might
off.
add some excitement.
I just watched Morris Smith on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne talking about NFL economics, how none of these teams are corporations. They're all like a series of LLCs.
Yeah.
So like just the finance of the economics of it are all go to the house.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's an amazing economic structure what they get away with.
Yeah, no, they get away with so much.
They were a charity as of like 3-4 years ago. Now they're not anymore.
You know what? They still do NFL charities. They still have that arm.
Right.
But yeah, it's not as significant as it used to be.
It's they were structured as a charity. It was like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Well, teams are doing that now.
Yeah,
franchises kind of separated themselves to where they branched out that way.
Yeah,
in the community. That goes along with getting a new stadium and community relations and everything. So
yeah,
it's a great business model. It's one of the it's the best business model out there in my opinion.
All because of it. It all stems back to the merger in the 60s between the AFL and the NFL, and they got this through.
Right. Marketing, the growth aspects in terms of what you can do with sponsorships and how you can value your franchises now. I mean, yeah, it's spectacular.
What about tricking cities? What about tricking cities' taxpayer bases to build the damn stadium? That's what when I hear of a stadium getting built by taxpayers in today's day and age, it makes me want to scream. I mean, these chazers, they have so much money and they can't build their own goddamn stadium, and then they're going to charge you $14 for popcorn and $22 for cotton candy. Poor Will can't go to the game. He's got 8,000 children.
Pritch, when you were growing up, how often did you use the word chazer? Would you say?
Oh man, you know what? I can vividly remember one time I used it.
Did you?
No.
Under. I'll go under on
yes.
Yes.
Chazer is Hebrew for pigs.
Pritch. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, except Pritch,
appreciate that.
Correctly pronounced, it's chazir. He speaks a terrible Hebrew. You should know that as well. All right. Biggest favorite. Final two questions of each and every Megapod. Biggest favorite on the board, most likely to lose outright. Of the big favorites, that is, on the board. Who is the most likely to lose outright? Buffalo Bills, 16.5-point favorites, hosting the New Orleans Saints. Lions are now 10-point favorites. It's up to 10, hosting the Cleveland Browns. New England, 5. I'm not going to include that because then you'll go to that. We'll do it above 5.5. The Chargers, 6.5-point favorites on the road against the Jackson Dart-led New York Giants. Houston, 7-point favorites at home against the Titans. And then Green Bay, 7-point favorites at home on the road, at the CeeDee Lamb-less Cowboys. And then Denver, we just mentioned 7.5-point favorites at home against Cincinnati. Pritch, the most likely of those big favorites to lose outright would be?
I mean, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think the unknown is there with Jackson Dart and Dable up against it. And you certainly don't want to go for, the Chargers for what they are right now. I went to that Monday night game here against the Raiders in town. And they're a physical team, right? They showed that against Kansas City, but against the Raiders, they wanted to throw the ball all around the yard, right? And at some point, that's going to catch up to you. The league has turned into a running league. The elite teams are certainly trying to be 50-50 with play selection. The Chargers is still in that 60-40 mode, throwing the ball, and Herbert's been fantastic. But on a road like this, against that defense, you're going to have to run the football. And I don't know if the Chargers are that consistent to do that. So if they win the game, they win the game. But likelihood of them getting upset is there, in my opinion.
Okay. Chargers. One vote for the Chargers. Todd?
I'm going to go with the Houston Texans because I believe that in today's National Football League, in order to win a football game, you might need offense. And this team, to me, does not have an offense. So if they get a couple of the requisite turnovers, if Tennessee can get a couple short fields, I don't think it's going to happen, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if the old Texans, screwed the pooch, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think anybody would be terribly shocked. Will?
Yeah, Texans averaging 12 points per game, a little over that, worst in the league. Well, how about the irony if the Titans knocked me out of Survivor? Wouldn't that be just hilarious? I'll go with the Texans.
You are going with Texans and Survivor?
Yeah.
You're doing it?
I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I got two. I'm not
Really, don't do
sure.
it.
I thought about Detroit, thought about Denver. I'm going to save Buffalo. I'm not going there. But I'm
Willie,
sure
don't do it just for the mere fact if the Titans did beat you, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
That's right. That would be awesome. I have 6. I will have, I think, 2 on Buffalo and 2 on Houston. The other one, I think I might go 2-2-2 with Denver being the other 2.
Take the Saints, go a little contrarian, take New Orleans.
Yeah. By the way, we've gotten that question before about Survivor. Like people are like, "Oh, should I do the Oppo?" I'm like, "No, just let everybody die on that hill. You don't have to go Oppo on it. It's Survivor.
It's too early, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for that.
Yeah. No, it's not a Survivor strategy. Did I answer? No, I didn't. I think it's. I hate to say it. I think it's Houston.
Did you say that
Even
on
though
Guessing Lines on Monday?
I'd say a lot of things, but that wasn't one of them because I only asked this question on the Megapod. I think it's Houston. Of all those choices, I like yours too, Pritch, of the Chargers. That's a little scary to me, but the others aren't. And so Houston's offense, Todd's right. That offense is so bad. So bad. Final question. Let's say we live in a bizarro world, Pritch. You are forced to bet a side on every single game, but you get one pass, one game where you're like, I don't want any part of that at all. What game is that?
Just Miami, New York.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. I mean, you're staring 0-4 in the face, and I can't gauge whether or not Aaron Glenn has captured that locker room. And I know McDaniel's lost his, and I mean, every man for themselves out there in Miami at this point. I don't know how they put it together for 60 minutes. Tua stinks. And then the quarterback situation with the Jets stinks too. So just a compliment around both of those situations. I don't want anything to do with that game.
Justin Fields is back this week. Did we get word on that? I think he is. I think Justin Fields is back for the Jets.
Are they better though? I mean,
I don't know if they're any better.
Yeah.
It just turns into more of a running game than a passing game. That's interesting what you said about Aaron Glenn though. What gives you that's interesting that you made that comment?
Because the Jets, they've been devoid of culture for a long time. I mean, they don't have anything, and since Parcells left, really, it takes somebody special like that in that market and with that franchise to kind of galvanize everybody and make sure that you create that culture. I think he's trying to do it, but he's just not there yet. I mean, you can see that great players on the offensive line, and that's not the problem, right? I mean, everybody's got great players, everybody's got good players, but can you develop a culture? Can you get everybody on the same page? And that just has not happened.
It's great seeing him running down the sideline like he was still a player, though.
Right. I mean,
that was awesome. Block kick for a touchdown by McDonald, I believe it was. I'm with Fritch. That's my game. Miami and the Jets. I want absolutely no part of that. Toddy.
I don't want the Chiefs against the Ravens because I just don't understand. I see the Ravens defense is just atrocious. And then their offense is good. And then on this other side, the Chiefs defense is good, but their offense is atrocious. So I don't have a good feel for that game at all.
Willie?
I thought about going Tennessee, Mississippi State, just because Josh Heupel, the Tennessee coach, might throw the ball when there's 80 points scored in the game and there's 48 seconds left.
He's just trying to wind me up. He's trying to wind me up.
I'm going to stick in the NFL here. I'm going to go Philly and Tampa. Both teams are 3-0, but both could easily be 1-2 or worse. Tampa, there's a lot of injury concerns, but we don't know who's playing on the offensive line. That matters. That being said, Tampa has kind of had Philly's number. I don't love either team, so that's a stay away. Did you see that game, Todd? Tennessee.
We should do a public service announcement about that game. I had under 81.5 in the Tennessee UAB game. It's 56-17, which equals 73. There's no way I can lose. UAB is coming down. They get a touchdown with 48 seconds left. It's now 56-24. That's 80. That's less than 81.5. The other team, Tennessee, winning 56-34, is supposed to hand off or usually take a knee, but if worst, hand off the ball, and that's the end of it. There's only 48 seconds left from their own 25. They run for 19. They go hurry up, throw a bomb down to the 15-yard line. There's only like 15 seconds left. They hurry up and run to throw it in the end zone. Thankfully, it was incomplete with 2 seconds left, and then they finally took a knee at that point. But I will tell you that I may have committed a murder in Tennessee had they scored there, because I have never, ever seen a team. I've seen teams try to get it in when they're on that side of the ball at the end, but never have I seen a team winning 56-34 24, start at their own 25 with 48 seconds left and run hurry up. Now, I know the point spread was 39, and they were up 32. And that was probably what he was up to. But that is the most obnoxious nonsense I've ever seen. And you have been warned with Tennessee. The coach knows the frickin' point spread, folks.
You're right, though. Not Lane Kiffin, not Bill Snyder, not Luke Fickell. Name your college coach that clearly
James
was
Franklin.
James Franklin is noted. But even he doesn't do it. He does it maybe when they're at the 30, but not from the other side of the field. It's obnoxious.
That was totally obnoxious. Absolutely. By the way, Justin Fields, just to clarify, he did return to practice today for the Jets. He will play if he's cleared. Mm-hmm. So there's still an if to that. That'll do it. Appreciate it, y'all. Thanks to everybody listening on Twitter. And of course, this will be in podcast form on the Beating the Book feed as well. Just great, absolute feedback on all this. Oh, Todd, you reminded me to do this. I did this 2 weeks ago for the first time in 15 years, this being the 15th year of the podcast. And by the way, podcast historian Tim Lawson, in celebration of our 15th year, always with the history on the guests. Mike Pritchard's first appearance on the Beating the Book Megapod, week 14 of 2022. Been on each year since. Week 4 is his earliest appearance to date. During his first episode, Gill made sure to remind Mike that his Falcons team was good, but not as good as Aaron Schatz's greatest team of all time, the 1991 Washington Redskins. Mike moved the chains. That's surprising. I can't imagine that I brought that up. Mike moves the chains on the Megapod with a couple of 2-1 performances and a 5-4 total record. He's 3 for 3 on his 6-point teasers. Wow.
5-4 for Pritch. The pressure is on Pritch to stay above 500.
3-0 on his teasers.
Yeah.
On this show.
3-0 on his teasers, but also 5-4. He needs a 2-1 to stay above 500.
That's
so I'm part of a syndicate. Will knows about this. I got a syndicate. A bunch of guys in Vegas that were able to go in the book and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And so they have themselves a teaser syndicate, and I get a lot of information from them.
You couldn't because you were a player at the time?
Right. And plus, they scared the crap out of me from the FBI standpoint. Don't step in the book. Don't be caught gambling on games.
That's for sure.
So I didn't step in the book as a player.
Todd reminded me to do this. So the first time in 15 years, 2 weeks ago, I did this. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Yes. Rate, review, and subscribe, please, if you want to talk about Todd's mic, because Tim also said Todd's mic was low. It's because he doesn't speak into
That's bull crap. I'm talking right into it right now. And you can find me at T Wishnev. And if you want to be on my WhatsApp in-game group, just send your phone number and put WhatsApp on your phone, and I will add you to the group. But don't just say, how do I get in? Send your phone number and put WhatsApp on your goddamn phone. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And on that note, thank you to Will Hill at Not The Will Hill on Twitter. Shoulda Bet More is the name of his podcast. Todd Wishnev. And our guest this week, Mike Pritchard, former NFL player, national champion forever with the Colorado Buffaloes. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Good luck with all your bets. Week 4 in the National Football League.